There's a huge offer on the table for Mauro Icardi. Sergio Ramos finds himself in hot water with UEFA. Lille appear resigned to losing Nicolas Pepe. There's a roundup of the day's transfer rumours. And of course, because it's Wednesday, we have this week's great debate. That and more coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, and there is a phenomenally large offer on the table for Inter Milan striker Mauro Icardi. Now, the want-away striker has had contract negotiations stalling in the last few months, has been stripped of the captaincy, and now is not even in the squad due to an apparent knee injury. Now, this is obviously keeping him out of the limelight and away from the fans that will surely be pretty hostile to him should he take to the pitch in Inter Milan's colours. Now, there's far more to this story involving his wife/agent, Wanda. However, we don't want to dig too deep into that, but we do want to talk about the ridiculous amount of money that Napoli are offering. Yep, it's not even Juventus that are putting forward the big contract. According to reports in Italy, Icardi will take home 9 million euros per year with a potential 2 million euros on top, totaling a massive 11 million euros. This will make him the second highest paid player in Serie A behind, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. However, the twist in the tale is that Inter Milan don't want to sell to Napoli, they would rather sell to Juventus instead. Now, there's a few reasons for this that I'm going to speculate on. In fact, there's 3 of them. First off, it's the fact that Juventus have much more money than Napoli do, meaning not only could they pay more, but they could also pay more of it up front instead of installments over the next few years. Secondly, the gap between Inter Milan and Napoli is quite close, so by selling them Icardi, they'll probably make it even bigger. They should look to tackle that demon first before making the gap up to Juventus. At the moment, Inter are chasing a 9-point difference to Napoli and a 22-point difference to Juve, so you can see why they're probably not so interested in selling Icardi to a direct, immediate rival. And lastly but not least, it's probably to do with the relationship between the clubs. Now, when it comes to a relationship between Inter Milan and Napoli, there's probably not much to gain. Neither of them are in a far better or worse financial situation than the other one, so there's not really much to gain on that front. And in terms of stealing players, well, Napoli are obviously going to be unlikely to sell to Inter Milan and the other way around. However, when it comes to being in Juventus's good books, well, that's a completely different thing altogether. For example, Tottenham and Real Madrid have a rather odd relationship. Real Madrid take Tottenham's best players, as we've seen with the likes of Luka Modric and Gareth Bale. However, this relationship may have originally started when Real Madrid sold Tottenham Rafael van der Vaart for around £8 million. The point I'm making is that if you keep one of the biggest clubs in world football sweet, they may help you further down the line. Inter Milan could get loads of players from Juventus that they don't want anymore for pretty cheap, and if they're coming from Juve, you know they're going to be pretty good. But next up, and to Sergio Ramos, who finds himself in hot water with UEFA after being charged for deliberately picking up a yellow card at the end of their first leg game against Ajax, which Real Madrid won 2-1. Now, after the game, Sergio Ramos told reporters saying that he would be lying if he said he didn't force it. Now, the question came to, what did he mean by it? Did he mean that he wasn't lying, saying if he didn't force the foul or the booking? Now, the whole point is that if he had forced the booking, it means he'll miss the second leg. Granted, however, all yellow cards get wiped after the quarter-final stage, meaning that the chance of him missing another match later on in the competition would be highly unlikely unless he'd pick up 2 or 3 yellow cards again. So what does this mean for UEFA? Well, a player found to have deliberately picked himself a booking up could be banned for a further 2 matches on top of the suspension for the booking. Now, for me, this seems absolutely ridiculous. The whole point, the whole thing what Sergio Ramos did was pick up a yellow card to intentionally miss the return leg of the Ajax game because obviously him and the club believe that they've got enough to go through. They've already got a 2-1 lead and they are a pretty good team, Real Madrid. That's no shade on Ajax, but Real Madrid have won the Champions League 4 of the last 5 years. So what Ramos has done is effectively put the risk on the rest of his team. If Ajax manage to win and Real Madrid go out, well, then the footballing egg is completely all over Ramos' face and Real Madrid's face. That's the risk that he's running, so let him get on with it. There is nothing against picking up a yellow card. If a player wants a yellow card for whatever reason, he can pick it up. It's his fault and he's the one running the risk. So, as I said before, I think it's pretty harsh. But what do you guys think? Obviously, let me know in the comment section down below whether or not you think Ramos should be allowed to pick up a yellow card whether he wants to and run the risk of Real Madrid losing the second leg without him in the team. I have a feeling that a few Mo Salah fans will probably want Ramos to be banned for the rest of the competition. Up next are some good news for Arsenal fans and the fans of those teams that have been chasing Lille Lille's Nicolas Pepe. The Ivorian forward has scored 17 goals in 28 appearances this season and has been on fine form, which has seen him attract the interest of some of Europe's top clubs. And the good news? Well, apparently their sporting director Luis Campos has admitted that they could be forced to sell him because Lille aren't a very rich club. If an offer of around 50 million euros comes in for him, it'll look likely that they'll reject it, and so he could be on the move in the summer. This is backed up by the Lille manager, who's admitted that Pepe should really be playing for a Champions League club as well, and although Lille are in best position to take second spot in Ligue 1 and qualify for the Champions League themselves, they probably won't be denying him a big move to a top European team. And next up to a roundup of the day's transfer rumours, where Juventus have made it clear that they have no intention of bringing Gonzalo Higuain back to the club after his loan spell with Chelsea ends. Elsewhere, Bayern Munich are preparing a huge bid for Atletico Madrid fullback Lucas Hernandez. Arsenal want Celtic fullback Kieran Tierney for around £25 million. And Tottenham striker Fernando Llorente has admitted that he'd love to finish his career and retire at Athletic Bilbao, his former club in Spain. But last but not least, we come to this week's great debate, because it's Wednesday. This is when all of our team in the OneFootball newsroom set you guys a question and they want to hear your answer down below. Of course, you can also check the article in the app to find out their answer as well as mine in there. But for this video, I want to know, what is the greatest football match you've ever seen? Now, of course, there are so many to choose from and there's no right or wrong answer because it's completely dependent on the way you felt whilst watching this game. For me, it was Tottenham Hotspur beating Chelsea 2-1 back in 2006. It was the first time in my lifetime and the first time in 16 years that Spurs had beaten Chelsea at home in the Premier League, and it was an unbelievable game. Ledley King made a ridiculous last-ditch challenge against Arjen Robben. John Terry got a red card, Makelele scored an unbelievable volley, and Spurs ended up winning 2-1. In fact, when Michael Dawson nodded in the equaliser in the first half from a Jermaine Genius free kick, I have to admit, I did shed a few tears. It was that emotional and I was overcome with so much joy. Of course, let me know down below your thoughts on the best game you've ever seen and your thoughts on all the rest of today's daily news. Whilst you're there, you can also smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos that we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.